The night I told my family I was pregnant, my own mother came around the dinner table and swung her fist into my stomach, screaming that the first grandchild belonged to my sister. I was 11 weeks along. I spent that night in an emergency room watching a heartbeat flicker on a screen. But the blow isn't the part that broke her. The part that broke her was the doorbell 20 minutes later and the woman standing on the porch wearing my face. What my mother offered me in court was crueler than the fist. Welcome back to Lineage of Lies, where family secrets unravel. Subscribe, because this one goes deep. In my mother's house, every morning began with an inspection. Chelsea got adjustments, I got a glance. A sunflower yellow tape measure lived in the kitchen drawer. Every Sunday, my mother measured Chelsea's waist and wrote the number on a notepad shaped like a wedding cake. She never measured me. For years I thought that was freedom. It was disqualification. You don't measure what you've already decided isn't going to market. My mother owned Sandra's Bridal. She was Miss Harland County 1986, the sash framed behind the register. Chelsea modeled from age 6, I worked in the back, invisible. I was 9 when I heard a customer ask how she got so lucky. My mother laughed, we work at it. In this family, pretty is the rent. I did the math silently and forever, I was behind on payments. When I asked whose face I had, she said, not from my side, and her mouth closed like a drawer. Hold on to that. My father, Alan, worked nights. He loved us in quiet tenses, but he was present the way furniture is present, solid and no help. At 12, I saw him slide an airmail envelope into his old green tackle box. He put a finger to his lips. 17 years later, I'd learn what was inside. I escaped by becoming useful. Nursing school, pediatrics. I met Ben, a science teacher who keeps a list titled Things Whitney Was Right About. We married. At the wedding, my mother wore beige and noted my dress was off the rack. Chelsea gripped my hand under the table like a railing. I didn't know yet that the golden child was white-knuckling her own life. Chelsea was 33, 4 rounds of IVF deep, trying to produce what my mother called the first Renner grandbaby. My mother paid for 2 rounds and kept a countdown. By next Christmas, a bassinet by that window. I once drove Chelsea to her clinic. Our mother kissed her cheek and said, smiling, "Don't disappoint me again, sweetheart." Again. Chelsea wasn't the lucky one. She was the franchise. Then 2 pink lines appeared in my bathroom. Pure joy and threat assessment. By my mother's accounting, this was an unauthorized product, the first grandbaby in the wrong daughter. We waited until 11 weeks, strong heartbeat. I chose a Sunday dinner, full table. I scripted a pivot to Chelsea. I prepared for everything except what I couldn't see. 3 hours before dinner, my mother got a call. Chelsea's 4th round had failed. I knew something was wrong the instant I walked in. Chelsea's swollen eyes, my father carving the roast with desperate focus, and my mother, radiant. Her brightness always ran inverse to her weather. Her fork clicked the plate like a metronome set to something coming. I squeezed Ben's knee, hold, not tonight. But proud people are flammable. My mother beamed at us, you two look lit up. What's going on? Ben's hand lifted his glass. Well, actually, we have some news. I'm pregnant. 11 weeks. The room broke in the wrong order. Chelsea came around the table first, her cheek wet against mine. Oh, wit. Grief and gladness fused. My father gripped the table and looked at me, not his wife. My mother rose like weather off a lake. Today. You chose today. Her voice climbed and cracked. The first grandchild must be hers. She came around the table. She grabbed my shoulder and swung her fist into my stomach, low, deliberate, screaming, "Get rid of it." I ended up on my knees, arms wrapped around my middle. Ben threw himself between us. Paul restrained her. Then my father roared, "Sandra, enough." The room froze. And the doorbell rang. My father opened the door. A woman stood there, silver-haired, calm, and she had my face. My jaw, my eyes, my chin. My mother went white and began to shake. The woman surveyed the wreckage with one slow pass of the eyes. A jeweler's pass. Hello, Sandra. 36 years, and it's still the same show. Who gave you permission to touch that girl? My father said, Whitney, this is your Aunt Renee. Then I felt warmth on the carpet and realized I was bleeding. At the ER, the heartbeat flickered steady, 164. A small hematoma, a bruise. Her fist had missed everything that mattered by anatomy's mercy. Dr. Okonkwo asked how it happened. My whole life trained for that answer. I fell. I looked at the monitor. Somebody in that room could not lie yet. My mother struck me. Closed fist, once, to the abdomen. Approximately 7:40 p.m. The truth went into a chart. Charts don't recant. My father came the next morning with scrambled eggs and the tackle box. Inside. Decades of airmail envelopes from Renee, the sister-in-law forbidden to mention. Everyone kept. I thought staying quiet was holding the family together, he said. Turns out I was just holding my seat. Renee came that afternoon. She placed a Polaroid on the table, 1989, two sisters by a Buick. My mother at 21, not touching the other woman. The other woman laughing in denim, with my face. I was the rough draft, Renee said. Your mother, the fair copy. Our mother graded us at breakfast. Posture, skin, waist. I left. Sandra said I ran off the rails. I ran a pottery studio. She slid the photo to me. You have my face. Don't take her script. By Wednesday, my mother's narrative was circulating. Whitney had a dizzy spell, took a fall, and now tells monstrous lies. A neighbor prayed for my situation with a pause like tongs. I didn't counter-campaign. I printed my ER records. Ben labeled a folder, when you're ready. At 1:14 a.m., Chelsea texted, file it, Whit. I'll testify. I'm so tired. She came over. The tape measure never stopped, she said. At 33, our mother still commented on her waist in front of brides. She'd scheduled embryo transfers around the boutique's trunk shows. I was the mannequin. A mannequin isn't loved, it's dressed. You got to be a person. She read the ER summary and said, she hit the wrong daughter, and she's going to call it love. I'll say that to the judge. We filed. My father wrote his statement in pharmacist's print, hands shaking. The ex parte order was granted. A deputy served my mother at the boutique, mid-fitting. She took the papers with a bright smile and finished flawlessly. A new sign appeared in the window, family is everything. My lawyer warned me, they'll propose reconciliation. It will come wrapped in the thing you want most. I knew what that was. I wanted my mother to say she loved me. 29 years, one sentence. The night before court, she stood on my porch, cardigan buttoned wrong. A scream in Sandra's language. She told me a true thing, my mother weighed me every Monday. At 15, before the county final, she locked the kitchen for 3 days. I competed dizzy. I won. I ached for that starving girl. Then she cashed it in, withdraw the petition, and I'll say it. I'll say I love you. You'd be the first. The sentence I'd waited for, quoted like a price. Good night, Mom. I'll see you in court. In the courtroom, our side filled up. Chelsea in plain navy. The mannequin on strike. Renee on the aisle with my face. My mother entered in deep green, chin high. She swept the room, snagged on Renee, and never looked at me. The records went in. Chelsea testified, she hit the wrong daughter, and she's going to call it love. Renee laid 3 generations on the record, the breakfast gratings, the locked kitchen. Pretty is the rent was our mother's phrase first. I know exactly what she'll do to that baby. During that, my mother checked her reflection in the glass tabletop. Then she stood to speak. She turned to me. I love you, Whitney. I don't say it because where I come from, you didn't get to. She reached the edge of truth, then stepped back. Withdraw this order, sweetheart, and come home. You get everything you ever wanted. All you have to do is take it back. The Polaroid was in my pocket. I stood, hand on my daughter. I believe you, Mom. Her face lit with victory. I continued into that radiance. That's the saddest part. I believe your love can buy something you need. That's the only kind of love she taught you, love with a receipt. You're offering me the sentence I've wanted for 29 years as a price. I'm not buying my safety with it, because my daughter is listening. Love isn't rent, Mom. Nobody owes you for a face. The judge granted the order. 2 years. My mother walked out at pageant tempo, heels clicking. That sound is the last of her I have. My daughter was born in November, 7 pounds, unharmed. Chelsea's 5th round, paid for herself, held steady. Renee wept over a kiln on video. No empty chair. My mother sent a white silk gown, no verb, just blessings, Sandra. I drove it to the charity closet, where it will dress a baby whose grandmother's love has no dress code. On my fridge, a sonogram and a Polaroid. My daughter has my chin, Renee's chin. Nobody will ever measure it. That's my story. What sentence did you wait your whole childhood to hear? Tell me in the comments. Subscribe to Lineage of Lies. Next week asks an even harder question. Take care of yourself. That's family, too.